Using the Shelva team as a model, I'm going to describe our stroke technique in 4 steps. The first step is the hinge. The second step is the catch. The third step is power. The fourth step is the release. This is step 1, the hinge. This is the start of the stroke, and it's right at the end of the previous stroke. At the end of the stroke, notice you're sitting straight up, and you have that upper thoracic twist in the opposite direction. In number 1's case, it's on his right side. And notice how his elbow is bent, where he's lifted the paddle at the end of his stroke. The red lines designate the elbow bend. The green line designates the thoracic twist, about a quarter turn. And the yellow line denotes sitting up straight. From the start position, you hinge forward about 20 degrees. Rotate your shoulders about 1/4 turn as you hinge forward, lowering your bottom hand shoulder and throwing your arms straight out, locking your elbows until your bottom arm is parallel to the gunnel. Help stiffen your spine by taking a small breath as you hinge forward. Your top hand shouldn't be more than a fist length above your head at the end of the hinge. I've drawn lines to mark important points at the end of the hinge. The green line indicates the lower arm being parallel with the gunnel. The red lines indicate an angle of about 20 degrees that you're hinging forward, and the yellow line denotes what's straight up and down. The blue line indicates the upper thoracic twist of about a quarter turn at the end of the hinge. Notice how all lower arms are parallel in unison. After the hinge is the catch. Catch occurs by hinging a little bit more between 15 and 20 degrees while placing your blade into the water. Make sure your top hand is stacked over your bottom hand. Anchor or set your blade in the water until the blade is fully submerged. Keep both arms as straight as possible as you anchor your blade. Make sure your blade is set and anchored in place before you apply power. I've annotated a slow motion video of the catch. The blue line shows the angle of the blade of seat number 1 as he rotates into the catch position. The green line shows the straight lower arm of seat number 2 as he hinges into the catch position. Each green line goes from his shoulder to his hand on the paddle shaft. The ends of the green lines show the arc of his shoulder at one end and the arc of his hand at the other end. And notice that the last green line, he extends a little bit more into the water. The red lines show that he hinges a little more during the rotation to the catch position to an angle of about 44 degrees, but this varies between 35 and 45 degrees throughout the paddle. I notice that they're at the catch position when their hand touches the water. I think they use this as a marker to determine their maximum hinge position. They know when their hands hit the water that everyone is in the same hinge position. After the catch is the power phase of the stroke. As you begin to apply power, help stiffen your spine by holding your breath and by clenching your abs and anus as you sit up. Arch your back a little to help push your hips forward as you sit up. Keep the bottom hand at the same level as you sit up. Apply equal pressure on both hands as you sit up. Apply maximum steady pressure as you sit up. Keep your head up and your back straight. The power phase is finished when the top hand hits the gunnel. I've animated a slow motion video of the power step. I'm highlighting the important things that happen during the power step. The yellow circle shows the top hand position at the start of power. The red circle indicates the top hand position at the gunnel when the power phase is finished. The green lines indicate back movement as he sits up, with the red lines indicating a 20-degree hinge at the end of the power step. The yellow arrow indicates driving his hips to his heels as he sits up. The blue circle shows the upper thoracic twist at the catch, with the green circle showing the shoulders square at the end of the power step. The blue line shows the length of the power part of the stroke. The release step occurs after the power step. At the end of the power phase, you continue to sit up without applying pressure. Keep both arms as straight as possible. Rotate your bottom hand shoulder back about a quarter turn with an upper thoracic twist as you sit up straight, while allowing your bottom hand to drift back past your hip. And finally, bend the bottom elbow while lifting the paddle up and forward. I've animated a slow motion video of the release step. The green lines indicate back movement from the beginning of the release to the start of the next stroke. The red line indicates the shoulder rotation backwards at the end of the release. The yellow and blue circles indicate the top hand beginning and end positions. The green and red circles indicate the bottom hand beginning and end positions during the release. One of the differences between their stroke and the stroke that we've been teaching is that we want everyone to have a straight back as they sit up, not a curved forward into a sort of a C shape during the power part of the stroke. The red lines in this clip show the variation in curvature of the back between 1 and 2, although as you watch them stroking, you'll see that most of them have a curvature in the back during their power phase. After timing their stroke cycle, I found that they have a 3-count stroke, 2 counts in the water and 1 count return. Now this is different from what we've been preaching, where we wanted a 4-count stroke. In retrospect, this is probably a better stroke count because it allows you more time to set the blade before you apply power.